Hello and welcome to the 9th episode of the Debrief, and today we're joined by Grace Mailey. Yeah, pat myself on the back for that one. And we're going to be talking to Grace about her career in sports media and also about the development of women in the last 30 years. So I'm going to start off by asking you, what have you done to get to the point you're at now?
Okay, so I'm Grace. I am 5 Live Sports senior guest producer. I started my journey when I was in school, probably very early on. I kind of knew that I wanted to do a career in the media, but I think it's not really a thing that you look at when you're younger and think, you might look at the person who presents the news and think, oh, that's who I want to be, but you don't see the amount of work that goes in behind the scenes and actually the number of jobs that there is. So I did a work experience placement at LFC TV because my uncle worked for Liverpool Football Club at the time. So he got me in, and then I did loads of jobs with them, went out on shoots. I was only 15, so went out on shoots, went to Anfield a couple of times, went to Melwood when the men's team used to train there, did a lot of floor managing, and then basically when my 2 weeks had finished, I just kept going back and doing some shadow shifts with them, and then I actually got TV credits and was floor manager for them. So that was in year 10. Then in year 12, I had a work experience placement at Made in Liverpool TV. Again, very similar things, like out on location, on shoots, reading the auto cue, having to go in the studio, like bits and bobs. And I thought, yeah, this is really what I want to do. And there was no kind of jobs. I feel like when you're in school, people say to you, oh, you could be a doctor or a nurse or a firewoman or a policewoman, or there's not... Nobody really says to you, oh, you can go and work in the media, but I just think it's so much more accessible now than what it was. So when I was in school, my careers advisor actually said to me, you know, a career in the media is really unrealistic and it's never going to happen, and I'm the type of person that just wants to prove people wrong. So I was like, well, let's just see if I can do it. And I remember my dad saying to her, you know, she said, oh, 1 in 50 people might make it in the media industry, and my dad went, well, what if she is that one? Do you know what I mean? You can't rule anything out. So then I did those work placements. I started applying to university. I applied for a journalism degree at Salford Uni, did that for 3 years, came out with a first. And then while I was there, I started doing some work placements and like shadow opportunities at Radio Manchester. So I was with Radio Manchester for maybe 2.5 years, and somebody who worked at Radio Manchester went to Radio Merseyside and said, I've got a Scouser on my team, she'd fit in better with you than she does with us. So then I was at both Manchester and Merseyside. I actually presented the Hillsborough podcast for Radio Merseyside, which was on BBC Sounds. And then a job came up at 5 Live. I went for it, kind of thought there's probably not a chance that I'll get it, but if I can get in front of them and show them what I'm about, I might get something. They gave me shadow shifts, then they gave me paid work. So then at one point I was freelancing at Radio Merseyside, Radio Manchester and 5 Live all at the same time. Then I got a staff researcher contract just before COVID at 5 Live. Did that for like 3 years, 4 years. Then became a journalist, producer for 3 years. Maybe, yeah. And then I've done my job for 18 months, so I am the guest producer for 5 Live. So I took it because I'm a people person. I love speaking to people. I work with all the ex-footballers who, on the whole, are really good fun. So that was just something I wanted to do, really.
So, what does your, job entail? What you do on a day-to-day?
So at 5 Live Sport, we're on air 7 till 10:30 every weekday evening, and over weekend we're on air 12 till 7:30. So that's a lot of guests over a very frequent period of time. So I will liaise with the agents, with all of our ex-footballers. I will liaise with the producers of our shows. I do produce shows myself, so still do a bit of that. And podcasts. I essentially book all of our guests for all of our shows, which is a lot. And I think when I took it on, I knew how fun it'd be. I don't think I knew how much work it would be, maybe, and especially in the last few months. So I'm now planning for, obviously it's the end of the season, I'm going straight into a World Cup, and straight off the back of the World Cup I'm going into a brand new season. So it's a lot of work, but it's really fun, and the majority of them are absolutely lovely.
Sounds amazing.
It does. Have you faced any obstacles coming into like the industry? Because obviously more women are getting into the industry, and I think we face more obstacles maybe than most people do.
Yeah.
Do you face any obstacles?
Yeah, I think that's a common thing. I think everyone who is a female in this industry, especially when you work in sport, there's always going to be backlash, and you kind of, it's certainly got better. I mean, you know, my career advisor was female in school, and she said to me that it was unrealistic. So everyone gets it from all angles, essentially. I think working in a male-dominated field can be daunting, and it takes strong women to actually put yourself in that situation and, you know, not be afraid to say what you think and give an opinion and back yourself to the point where, you know, you can sit in a room full of men and confidently know that you know more than them on a certain topic. I think people find that quite daunting. And I think it throws a lot of people, but the longer you do it, certainly the more confident you become. I think backlash it's always going to be a thing. I mean, you know, I not related to my job, but I've got a season ticket at Anfield, I've gone for years, and I remember in school and even after school, you know, people saying to me, well, do you even know what the offside rule is? Which is, everybody hears that all the time. You know, can you name 8 players in Liverpool's starting line-up? Did you see that goal last week? Can you describe it to me? People who doubt you. And I just think I've got this, I'm quite resilient to it now. I wasn't to begin with. Like in school, I literally used to not want to talk to them or answer them, or because I was like, oh, like what if I'm wrong, and but I just don't care anymore. And I think working in an industry that is where you are in a minority as such, it helps you to build that strength, I think.
Yeah, we've had some.
Yeah, we've got
backlash.
that quite a lot.
Have you?
Yeah. Especially with the offsides rule. And then even when I was in primary school, we used to have like number days and stuff, and I used to like not want to come in my Liverpool kit because I'd get loads of questions and they'd be doubting me, going, oh, do you really watch the football? Like, do you just watch it with your dad and all this? I'm like,
a lot of that stems from people's own insecurity.
Yeah. I mean,
or like
it really does.
Or like they go to me like, wow, you actually know football. Like when they talk to me, like they're surprised, and I'm like, it should be like, it's a world-known sport.
Yeah.
Like everyone should be able to go into it.
Yeah, and I think that's why, you know, the success of the Lionesses and the things that they've done over their career has really propelled the women's game to bring, it's still not level, but it's a lot closer than it has been. Yeah. A lot closer. And I think that enables people to see that, you know, if you can see it, you can be it. And
exactly.
Not necessarily don't have to be a player, but like if you see a female presenter on the TV, or you see a female reporter on the TV, or you listen to a female on the radio, a commentator, or, you know, it's proven to women and to the people who doubt us that actually you can be it. Yeah.
I think I've had some, especially at college, with an opinion actually. I said I prefer Ekatike over Isak. And one of the lads in my class, which is very fair because a lot of people are thinking it. It's a lot of males are also thinking it. And he turned around to me and went, oh, that's like a football knowledge because you're a girl. And then I looked at him and he goes, you probably find Ekatike fitter as well. And then just left. I was like, well, what do I say to that? You don't even say anything.
Completely out of order.
But yeah, we've...
Oh yeah, they all just assume that like they're our favourite player because we fancy them. It's like, that's not the thing at all.
And that will always be the case.
Yeah.
Always be the case. And actually, I mean, I do pods for the Anfield Wrap, that's why I'm here now. The Ekatike is a better player than Isak. He's been fitter all season.
Exactly,
plays
more.
him.
Yeah.
He was worth less money.
There's that too. But obviously, you've had a career path, which is a very extended career path. You've done a lot. What's been your favourite thing you've done?
Probably just being a radio producer is one of the most rewarding things, working in a live studio environment. Like, I've been really fortunate that I've gone to a lot of sporting events now in the last, I mean, I've only been there for six years at 5 Live, but I've done, so I went to the Ryder Cup in America in September, which was to produce live golf on a course at a Ryder Cup is insane, and did the Open last year as well, which was brilliant. And I was so scared going into it because, like, I've never done any golf production on site before that point. So our golf team are one of the best in the business. Like, Mark Chapman hosts it, all our golf commentators are fantastic. John Murray, Alistair Bruce Ball, Cat Downs, James Gregg, they're all brilliant. But just the experience of, I mean, I was on the final hole when Scotty Scheffler won the Open, which was just incredible. And then at the Ryder Cup, again, being there when you're at one, seeing the scenes, like all the, you know, being on the hole when Lowry and Rory were getting all the stick off the Americans, and, you know, just those moments. I mean, I did a week of build-up shows in Paris for the Olympic Games. I've done Wimbledon. I've been to the Rugby League Grand Final. I've worked at Wembley 4 times. Like, those are all incredible experiences, and I work in football day in, day out, but we do a lot of other sport, and the golf was just such a rewarding thing, because I was a golf fan. I wasn't a religious follower, I would say, but then actually going and seeing it and witnessing it, and, you know, you stood there in all conditions, you're in the pouring rain, next minute it's sunny, I'm walking the course with Colin Murray and we're getting soaked, you know, like, it's just a big, I can't describe it. It's like a massive adrenaline rush the whole time, and producing live radio at moments like that is just the best.
Yeah, Megan loves golf.
Yeah, I mean, we watched the Ryder Cup, we watched the Masters. My granddad used to take me and my brother to go and play every Sunday.
Wow.
And then, yeah, my granddad plays now.
You're going to try and get to Birkdale?
Hopefully. I'd like to go and do the Open. That'd be really cool, but
do you know what? You can get tickets for the practice days.
Yeah.
And often on the practice days you get to see more, because there's less of you, and you can follow a group and they come out like twice to practice or whatever. Yeah. Obviously you're relying on the weather, but I think often they can be great days to go and watch, just to get a feel of it.
I did. I wrote for Rory, I think, about 3 times on everybody's phones for sports personality of the year. I was like going, "Oh, Dad, can I just have your phone?" And we were all voting for Rory. I'll
show you a video in a bit, but I worked on sports personality this year. So because I'm talent producer, they ask you to like chaperone talent or whoever in stuff. And they gave me John Bishop and Robbie Fowler, but I think that was probably just because I was Scouse. But they were absolutely lovely. But no, so I was at the side of the stage when Rory won, which was just...
That's so cool.
I wanted him to win as well.
I love Rory McIlroy. I went to... This is so off topic, but I went to Ireland after I'd done my GCSEs, and we went to Portrush.
That's where I was for the Open last year.
And they were showing us like, oh, this is like the green, and then we went to Chippy, and I ordered a battered sausage and chips and gravy, and they call it the Rory Special.
Love that.
Yeah.
Got to be done while you're there.
I was honestly, I took loads of photos and I was like sending them to my mum going, "This is a Rory Special." It was really
That's
cool.
so good.
But do you want to ask the last question?
I don't think I have one.
Oh. How do you think the development of women in the last 30 years is going to inspire more people like us to come into the industry?
I mean, I think you can see it already. Like, I'm looking at you two, you're clearly very switched on, you know what you're doing, you've got your initiative. I think maybe 10 years ago, you wouldn't have seen that. You know, when I did my work experience, and we're not talking that long ago, like, I'm 28, so we're looking at what, like, 12 years ago or something, I went into a newsroom and I was one of the only women. I went to Granada Reports, I was the only woman on their sport team when I was shadowing there. You know, it was not common. And now, you know, you look at the telly, you only have to put the TV on or the radio on, and hopefully you will hear a woman within 10 minutes. You know, it's not this big taboo thing anymore. You know, at the Anfield Wrap especially, there's a group of really strong women who a lot of us work in the field, and 3 of us work in sport. The 6 of us all work in the media in some aspect. So, you know, I think it's a lot more common now. And as I mentioned before, I think the Lionesses have paved the way. But I think also, you know, the people who've broke barriers before we've come into this industry, like, you know, I look at Eleanor Aldroyd, one of the presenters on 5 Live with us. 5 Live was 30 last year. She's been there basically the whole time. She has basically broke the barriers in the industry. You look at Kelly Cates, you look at Gabby Logan, you know, and then I come present day to one of my best mates is P. Moulenstein, and she's presenting on Sky Sports, and you know, you look at all of these people, and just for you to see that representation in the media and to be able to see these people who you aspire to, I think it is really setting a standard for women in the industry, and I am really proud to be a part of it, because, you know, I sit in meetings with execs and bosses of companies, and when I sit in our meetings, I think, yeah, I'm the only woman, and I am the only woman to have done my job long term, and the only person under probably the age of 35 who's done my job. And I sit in these meetings and it is terrifying. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not sat there loving life, but I think I feel quite proud that I'm the only woman in the room, and I'm not afraid to say what I think. And, you know, that's only taking years of being in the industry and seeing people around you do the same thing to make you think, oh, well, I could do that as well. And, you know, I hope you two sitting here now, by seeing not necessarily me, but like by seeing other people in the industry and people doing what you want to do, that you think, yeah, well, we can do it, because you definitely can, and there is nothing that can stop you.
Yeah, I just think it's dead inspiring, obviously, listening to what you've done and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Like,
of course you can.
There's so many things that you can go into. Like, you always think that you're stuck to one thing.
Yeah.
Or like you have to go one way, when there's so many ways that you can get to where you're going, but you can do it in different paths.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, I look at some of my friends who were when I was in school, and, you know, I'd say, oh, I'm gonna work in the medium, and they'd be like, really? Like, what if you do it for years and then nothing comes of it? And it's a case of, now it's a lot more accessible than what it used to be. I didn't do media in sixth form or college. You know, I did German, French and history for my A-levels. Should have picked easier topics, but, you know. But there is nothing to stop you. If you've got, even if you're not the brightest person, which some people just aren't, and I'm not that academic, if you want to be something and you set your mind to it, you literally can, because so many people have proven that. And, you know, go and prove people wrong, because it's literally the best feeling.
Exactly.
It is, I love it. I mean, I used to sit at lunch and they'd be like, oh, what are you doing tonight? And I'd be like, oh, well, actually, Crystal Palace are on. I'm going to watch them. And they'd go, you don't support Crystal Palace? I said, no, but it's important I watch them, because, you know, it could come of anything. Or Formula One. I like to talk about Formula One.
Yeah.
I used to just talk about sport all the time, and then my mates from school were like, well, what are you going to do? Like, you're not doing media. I said, no, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, why? I'm like, because
I
love talking about sport. That's all I used to do at school. I used to get told off all the time. They're like, right, okay, you just need to just revise, not talk about sport, revise. I'm like, yeah.
I was the same. None of my mates knew that I liked football, because I never talked about it, because they never, like, if I spoke about, like, sports, they'd go, what are you on about?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? Like, have you not seen on the telly? I'm like, if I see sports, I switch it off.
Yeah.
So, like, I just stopped talking about it. But, like, now my mates come to me and they're like, what does offside mean? What's this? What's that? And I'm like, you didn't want to hear about this a few years ago.
Yeah.
And now you want to know everything. It's like, wow.
So it's probably because they've seen what you've done there.
Yeah.
They probably look at what you're doing and think, that's so fun, I wish I did that, or I wish I had an interest in it. And,
Yeah.
you know, like, sport, it's everywhere, isn't it? When you know, you've only got to look at this summer. This summer, there's the Open at Birkdale, there's the World Cup finals on the same day as the final day as the Open. You've got 2 weeks of Wimbledon in the time when the World Cup's on. You know, there's so many. Women's rugby, look at that, the amount of, you know, press the Women's Six Nations got, the success of the Red Roses, all of that. Yeah, so, you only have to look at this summer and the amount of sport that's on. So you've got a World Cup that's 7 weeks long. You've got the final day of the Open is the day of the World Cup final. Radio producer's nightmare if it goes to a playoff, but, you know, strange things have happened. 2 weeks of Wimbledon in that time. You know, you look at last summer, you look at the success of the Red Roses, the Women's Six Nations, you look at women's cricket. There's so much sport, and there's so much women's sport, and I think that is amazing.
I'm really excited for the World Cup, because I said to you last week,
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch England. I want to watch, like, Mexico.
Watching France
and Spain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the little...
Have you heard the France World Cup song?
No.
So good. So good.
I mean, I'm excited for the England squad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apart from that, I don't think I'll watch them. I think they're boring.
Well, the thing with it is the kick-off times are all through
They're all...
Yeah.
Like 10
They're like 5 p.m, 8 p.m, 10 p.m, some are 11, some are midnight, some are 1, some are 2, some are 3. They're all through the night.
Look, I'm tucked up in bed by 9:30. Nobody contacts me after 9:30 because I'm asleep, aren't I?
Yeah.
But yeah, have you got any advice you'd give to young females looking to get into this industry?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, you two are doing the complete right thing, and, you know, to even be offered this in college is amazing. I think make sure that you're always proactive, that you don't have to pick one sport. If you like all sports, go for it. Even if you're not into sport, have a bit of a niche, but don't necessarily just do that. I think ask loads of questions, reach out to people that you've met doing this. You can have my email address, just reach out, message us. If I can get you in, I'll get you in. Just keep yourself, you know, look at things online, read stories on the BBC Sport website. Other platforms are available. Watch loads of sport, have an opinion on things, like look at things and think, oh, is that the right, like VAR's a massive talking point at the minute. Have an opinion on it. Do you think it should stay? Do you think it should go?
It's one of our main topics on the podcast. All we talk
about it for about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and I get really angry. And
I said a nan with cataracts would be better far than them. Literally, it's so bad.
Yeah, just keep yourself, you know, keep in the know, keep across social media, watch your content creators on YouTube because that is the way the industry's going. Keep up to date with things. As I said, ask questions, talk to people. If you've made contacts in the industry, make sure you stay in with them. You know, send me a CV, send people that you've met your CV, ask for advice, do it. And it's daunting because you think, well, you know, they might not reply or nothing might come of it, but actually you've just got to put yourself out there, and you'd be surprised. Like, I've give talks in my uni, and, you know, at the end, you're like, any questions? And one person will put the hand up. And I think that one person has just increased their chances of getting anywhere. Even if it's a daft question, I literally don't care. I think they'd rather you ask whatever's at the top of your brain than you sit there. And I used to be that person in uni that put my hands up and ask a question. And now when I look at it, I think that's so important because you become the memorable person by just standing out from other people and not being afraid to ask something. So, yeah, I think that's it.
Well, thank you for joining us today,
thank you.
and we'll see you next week for the 10th episode.